Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get airborne. Man, we haven't done this in a while, and I'm really excited, really looking forward to this. A round of 8 full throttle training sessions. At the end of this, if you're new to Top Gun options, new to investing, new to stocks, new to options, you're going to know what you're doing, man. We're going to use some fighter pilot methodology to train you quickly to get up to speed to potentially profit. So really excited. Got my Colorado shirt on because my boy's trying out for the team last night. Dropped my middle son Jack off last week at CU Boulder, and really excited for that. But he's got high. He had first night of tryouts last night, second night tonight. So I'm manifesting goodness for my boy Jack. Okay. Whenever we start a brief, we always have what? Objectives, mission objectives. What are we doing here? What's the mission objective of these full throttle briefs and training? First of all, I'm going to keep you in the loop with what's going on around the globe, the United States, and tactically in the market. You're going to learn tonight our trading methodology, SOT, strategic, operational, tactical. This is how you got to trade, folks, period, and invest. I guarantee you. So I'm going to keep you in the loop, even as we're doing our academic training. There's no such thing as education. The world's full of educated derelicts. Training gives you a skill. Options traders are trained. Fighter pilots are trained. Doctors are trained. So I'm going to give you an up-to-date intelligence brief throughout each one of our sessions because we got a lot going on in the markets, okay? And we'll get into that. By the end of next week, you're going to learn you're going to know, not learn, you're going to be able to trade options successfully. You're going to know what the markets are, what stocks are, ETFs, and more importantly, options. Because options are less risky than trading stock, and that's probably the exact opposite of what you heard, and that's because you listen to ignorant people, and I'm going to fix that. And with what's going on in the next month, we're going to turn panic into profit, okay? So the clown car known as Washington, D.C. is back in town, and they have 11 legislative days to pass like 12 budget issues, right? If it's September, it's that time of the year when Democrats complain that we're going to shut down the government. Republicans complain that we spend too much, and we get to the brink of disaster or greatness with a government shutdown. Depends on your point of view. Market ends up tanking. Volatility, which you'll learn about in the next week, spikes, and guess what happens? We make money. I love gridlock. As an American, I can't stand it. As a trader, as an investor, I love it. I love stupidity because we can potentially profit off other people's stupidity. Real quick, let's take a look at the flight schedule. So you're in session 1 right now. We're going to talk about the basics of, first of all, I'm going to introduce who I am. We have 400 new folks who are joining us at Top Gun Options. And then obviously I have all my regular members in here as well. But I'm going to give a quick intro. We're going to talk about the market. We're going to talk about stocks, ETFs, and options this morning. Tonight, we're going to start digging in, man. We're going to look at my trading methodology, some of my intelligence sources where I gather my intel to make investment and trading decisions, and we're going to cover our 7-step trade plan. This thing is worth its weight in gold. Trading is a form of combat, folks. Somebody's going to win, and somebody's going to get their ass handed to them. Which one do you want to be? Well, I want to be the person that wins. Okay, well, why wouldn't you use like the same methodologies that kept me safe over the skies of Iraq or Top Gun in Nevada and on Wall Street? Duh. So I'm going to give you my 7-step proprietary trade plan. That's going to be tonight. Okay. Tuesday morning, Monday's Labor Day, and I'm going to hook you up today and tonight with a potential Labor Day discount if you want access to the rest of the full throttle training. Because after tonight, if you're not currently a member, the other 6 sessions aren't free. So we're going to get airborne after tonight without you if you don't join. But Tuesday, we're going to talk about calls and puts. If you don't know what the hell a call or a put is, this is why you need to be here. Tuesday at 1, covered calls and cash secured puts. Wednesday, 10, bullish spreads. Wednesday, 1, bearish spreads, synthetic stock. Thursday at 10 a.m. And we're going to wrap up Thursday night with iron condors. Right now, If you have no idea what any of those things are, you should feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. That's what we did in Navy flight training, right? We had people show up who didn't even know what an airplane was, and in a short amount of time, they're flying off the pointy end of an aircraft carrier, delivering justice to people. Now, if you're looking at that flight schedule going, hey, man, that looks pretty busy, guess what? Everything's recorded and you get access to the replays. Matter of fact, there are people who have been here for years who watch these replays over and over and over again because they get something new each time that they listen to it. So I guarantee you, you're going to watch these briefs a couple times. So don't worry. Hey, Wiz, I worked during that time. Everything is recorded here at Top Gun Options, and you get access to the replays. This is being recorded, and you'll get access to the free ones. Here's the replay page, where the most recent replay is going to be posted. So let me give you the link to that. Obviously, there's no video on there right now because we're in the most current brief. So all the replays will be placed on this page. Okay. All right. So, before I continue, and there's the flight schedule. Before I continue, let me just knock out a quick poll because I want to get a temperature of the room here. Let me select a poll. What is your current, because we've been doing some good marketing and some of our partners have been emailing for us. What's your familiarity? Did I say that right? How do you know about Top Gun Options? I have no idea who you are, Wiz. Know you, but not a member, former member, current member. Just throw that in there real quick. I love the chop in the S&P 500 right now. If you don't know what the S&P 500 is, that's why you're here right now. So a couple more seconds. Let me know. Hey, man, I'm brand new. Never heard of Top Gun Options. Know you, but not a member. Former member. I love the fact that we get a lot of former members coming back, right? My mission objective so let me help you out with Top Gun. You don't go to Top Gun for your naval career. You go there to go through the course like I did, the adversary course, or you're an instructor for 2 or 3 years. Then you're back to the fleet, right? Same thing at Top Gun Options. As a businessman, I'd love you here forever. I make money. That's not me. As Wiz, I want you to come, put this patch on your shoulder, the Top Gun Options patch, and go back out to the fleet. But we find that a lot of members end up coming back because they miss the camaraderie, they miss the trades, they miss the intel. So I love seeing former members. All right, let me close that poll since most of you voted, and I'll share that. Let's see what we got here. Only 1% brand new, 20% know you but not a member, 12% former member. All right, cool. All right, awesome. We are done with the polls. Let me close those. Awesome. So this helps me know how fast I can go with everything else. Okay, so quick admin items. You're in GoToWebinar. When we do our member sessions after tonight, and we close the doors unless you join, we're going to be in GoTo training. We can all chat. You can see each other's chat. You type back and forth. We make jokes. We laugh. We cry. It's better than cats. I'd see it again and again. When we have more than 200 people registered, we have to be in what's called GoToWebinar. So I can see your chat. You got any questions for me? Comments, smart remarks, you can keep to yourself. Throw them in the chat box, okay? But what you're looking at me right now has a camera icon on the top. So if you see something cool on the screen, which you're going to see a lot of, click that camera and it saves it, I believe, to your desktop, okay? Already talked about the replay page. Easy to remember. go.topgunoptions.com/supersonic-replay. That's where the replays will be posted. And then if you don't have a brokerage account, so let me do that next poll real quick and get a temperature of what is your, let me grab this one, your investing level. So let's launch that one. Brand new, man. Stocks, options, ETFs, don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I know what stocks and ETFs are. Hey, I know what options are. I understand options, or I'm a Jedi master. So let me take the temperature real quick of that. Brand new. Understand stocks and ETFs. Understand options. I'm a Jedi master. Okay. All right. A couple more seconds. Jedi Masters, understand options, stocks, and ETFs, and brand new. Love the brand new folks and the understand stocks and ETFs. So let me go ahead and close that and share that with you so you know who your fellow squadron mates are. About 6% brand new, 17% understand stocks and ETFs, and then a good majority understand options. And it's interesting because if you're brand new or understand stocks and ETFs, I guarantee you, you understand options because you use them all the time in your daily life, which is really cool. So that's why when people at cocktail parties are like, oh, I trade options, I'm like, everybody does. And I'll explain how everybody trades options here in a little bit. All right. And then I love my my Jedi Masters. Okay. So real quick for the folks who are brand new, I'm Wiz, Matthew Buckley, flew the Hornet about 15 years-ish for the United States Navy, graduated from Top Gun, the adversary program when I was a bad guy pilot, deployed in support of Operation Southern Watch, doing some combat sorties in the no-fly zone, also mobilized for Operations Noble Eagle and Enduring Freedom. What's this have to do with trading? Everything. You don't join the Navy to get rich. You join the Navy to see the world and to serve your country, right? Always interested in finance. Other guys and gals sat in the ready room drinking coffee and telling, war stories. I did that too, but majority of the time I was reading the Wall Street Journal, teaching myself how to trade and invest. Matter of fact, as a young, officer in 1991, man, I'm old, down at Naval Air Station Key West, I remember sending my first $25 out of my first check as an ensign to the USAA Aggressive Growth Mutual Fund. And boom, started investing day one when I got my first paycheck 30 whatever years ago. That eventually led to looking at a statement from USAA each month and a lot of fees. And I'm like, well, why am I paying some dude or some lady to pick a bunch of stocks when I can do that? Rule number one, you're going to see here in a little bit, is trade what you know. My beautiful girlfriend at the time, which turned into my beautiful bride, kept Ann Taylor in business. And I used my American Express bill a lot of the time. So I ended up, buying Ann Taylor American Express and did extremely well with that. But as I started my naval aviation training and was being taught to be a fighter pilot, I started applying that to my trading, right? Having a strategy, implementing tactics that support a strategy, contingency planning, knowing when to get out of something before I got into it if it turns worse. And I applied that to my trading with just awesome results. So why Top Gun options, Wiz? How'd you go from flying in a fighter jet to sitting here today in a live trade brief? Unfortunately, because of one of our nation's worst tragedies. And no, not January 6th, if you're an idiot. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, I was getting ready for my first flight as a pilot for American Airlines, literally packing my bags to drive out to DFW and go from DFW to Miami to Cancun on a 727. I was supposed to be in a conga line the night of September 11th. My bride came in and said, hey, somebody hit the World Trade Center with an airplane. You better come look. I'm like, I'm busy, woman. Small airplane, bad weather. Kind of gave me that look like I'm an idiot, which happens often. And went out there and saw what you guys saw. Beautiful day in New York City, big smoking hole. And I'm going through my mental aviation checklist of how that could have happened. And the next plane hits. Immediate. Knew we were under attack. Raced into the bedroom, pushed the American Airlines uniform out of the way and its plastic from the cleaners, and threw on my flight suit, threw on my boots, because I was flying F-18s for the reserves out of Naval Air Station Fort Worth, man. Got out there just as they closed it and went to a combat posture, ran next door to the F-16 squadron, the SPADs, 457th, that was tied into NORAD. Me and a F-18 buddy were briefing with 4 other F-16 guys to get airborne and fly combat air patrol. As we're briefing and arming the aircraft, the Pentagon got hit. Just an absolutely incredible, horrific, surreal day. What's this have to do with trading? Everything. because I was going to be a rich airline pilot, man, right? Guess what happened? A week after the attacks, I got a photocopied letter from American Airlines HR that said, "Dear crew member, you're furloughed." Lost everything in the blink of an eye, right? Gave myself about 24 hours to stop feeling sorry for myself. Looking at people at ground zero, looking for their husbands, sons, fathers, daughters, brothers, sisters. I'm like, dude, get over yourself. People have it a lot worse than you right now. But I was also trading in the background as a hobby you can get, or for beer money. Well, guess what? Now I had to get serious and really start focusing on my trading because it had to pay my mortgage, my bills, because out of money, man. So got serious, really started trading on my own to pay the mortgage and my young son and my wife, and eventually popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms headquartered in the Board of Trade. Everybody should know that building if you've seen Batman. That was our trading firm right there. Trust me, when these people reached out to me, I'm like, I'm an idiot. Aren't you people the smart money? And what would I do, right? So I actually flew a Hornet up there because I needed the flight time. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So I moved the family. Our middle son, Jack, had just been born. And my father had just passed away. Really interesting time in my life. So I went to Chicago, man. I helped build a hedge fund. I helped build the retail brokerage options house, which some of you might have been familiar with. And it was insane. I started a financial media company called the Options News Network. That was the rival of CNBC. We wanted to, I had a check for $250,000 to buy advertising on CNBC, and they said, no, you're a competitor. I'm like, that's awesome. I had to fly to Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, meet with them, and then, of course, they finally took my money. So that was pretty cool. So, folks, if you're old enough, you know what's funny is I did a podcast the other day, and I used this analogy, and the lady's like, "Oh, I've never heard of that movie." I'm like, "Oh my God!" I jokingly tell people I'm Eddie Murphy in Trading Places, Valentine. I cannot believe, folks, that I am that old that people don't know this reference. Hopefully, everybody in this brief knows the reference here. But I was a guy off the street that went up and tangled with the smart money, and guess what? I found out. I pulled the curtain back, and the smart money just ain't that smart, to be honest with you. And you're going to learn that in our full throttle training. These people, man, I've seen these people. The legendary investors, smart money, brilliant. Trust me. We are just as smart, if not smarter than these people. I've also published 2 books. One's called From Sea Level to Sea Level, how I went from essentially the front lines to the front office on Wall Street. And then how do I know the smart money ain't that smart? Because of the COVID crash. Wrote a book about it. Literally sat in a live trade brief like this on a Thursday morning and saw Donald Trump and all the other idiots in Davos. Remember this? January of 2020? Donald Trump being interviewed in Davos. Joe Kiernan, throwaway question at the end of the interview. Oh, wait, Mr. President, before you go, one last question. What's this flu like in China? We're hearing about some bug or flu or something. And he's like, dumb question, Joe. Why are you even asking me a dumb question? You're an idiot. I've never seen more idiot person than you. It's a dumb question. I love Xi. Trust his backswing. Good guy. Been to Mar-a-Lago. Not coming here. That's a dumb question. I looked into this camera and I said, get out. He's lying. Get out. Why? Because I had a deep throat in the White House. He was like, dude, this shit got out of a lab in China and it's coming here. I made millionaires. I personally got filthy richer, and I turned little old ladies in tennis shoes into millionaires. Fact. What did the smart money tell you on CNBC, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and Donald Trump the whole way down? This is the bottom. I'd buy here. Oh, this stocks are Donald Trump. I have a screenshot of his tweet that he deleted. Stocks are looking good here. I'd be a buyer of stocks. The next day, the Dow went down 3,000 points. Remember that, guys? So wrote a book about it, COVID crash. I document everything that we did in this. Remember Ray Dalio. Some of you, if you're new to investing, you might not know Ray Dalio. Legendary investor Ray Dalio, the world's largest hedge fund manager. The same time Donald Trump said COVID's not, that's a dumb question. He's in Davos, Switzerland with all the other beautiful people. And he said what? Cash is trash. Meaning, if you're just sitting on cash right now and you're not in the stock market, you're an idiot. Boom, got destroyed. So anyway, we are the smart money. Do not sit in this trade brief for the 20-ish% of you that are kind of new to investing and go, oh my God, people are smarter than me. False. You, in some ways, are smarter than these people. You know why? Because you live in the real world. My sister, who I love very much, one of them, she runs Dune Capital in New York. She has a house in the Hamptons next to Bon Jovi. These people live in they don't pump their own gas type of folks, man. We understand the economy and the markets a lot better than these folks sometimes. Trust me, I guarantee you. Okay, last thing, couple things about me, and then we got to get airborne. I do the Max Afterburner podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeart, Stitcher, wherever cool kids listen to podcasts. I do the Max Afterburner podcast, ranked in the top 2% of podcasts in the world. Once the studio told me that, I had to go Google real quick because I'm like, who cares? There's like 3.1 million podcasts in the world. So I'm pretty proud of that. Do some charity work. The Broward Sheriff's Office Advisory Council. Some of you might have seen this the other day. We had a horrific mishap the other day. The Broward Sheriff's Office helicopter racing back to the airport, literally on fire. The tail boom broke off and they crashed into an apartment building. One of the air crewmen, the captain, lost his life. So I'm actually going to a memorial service. We provide money to the families and stuff like that. Just devastating. Lost a sister to a drunk driver. I support MAD. But my number one mission objective right now, besides teaching you all how to trade and all that type of stuff, is I run a foundation called the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. We are a 501c3 pending. I had a foundation called the Top Gun Fighter Foundation, and I'm like, you know what? That sounds a little too fighter pilot-ish. I want to help all veterans. We changed the name to the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. Enter the U.S. government. I want to change the name of my foundation. No. You have to close that foundation and open a new one and go through the whole process again. I'm like, okay, I'm on it. So anyway, the No Fallen Heroes Foundation, it's going to blow you away. You ready for this? We give healing grants to veterans, first responders, and their families to do psychedelic assisted therapy. I sat with the medicine a couple years ago with many of you know who this guy is, Marcus Luttrell. If you've read the book Lone Survivor or seen the movie with Mark Wahlberg, you know Marcus Luttrell. And then Jared Taylor, one of the founders of Black Rifle Coffee. I went to Mexico for a weekend, saved, changed my life. That is one of my priorities right now is, and hopefully we're having a retreat here in a month or two out in Colorado. I'm sick of sending our veterans, our first responders or their families to another country to heal the traumas they incurred serving this country. Makes me furious. It does not compute. So thank you, Oregon. Thank you, Colorado. We're going to start healing our heroes at home. Real quick, because 25% of you were new. My current members, you can have a sip of coffee for the next 4 minutes. I want to show you what we're doing here at the No Fallen Heroes Foundation. So sit back, relax, and let's go check out No Fallen Heroes. All right. Let me go back to the screen here. And so that's that's kind of what we're doing with No Fallen Heroes. That's the mission of our foundation, and really fired up to do that. Unfortunately, with Hollywood in a near shutdown right now, our project is going through some stuff, but our work in the background continues. Right, we're saving and changing lives. Okay. Finally, real quick, again, if you don't know who your instructor is, I never understood this. People go to these like investing briefs, each speaker talks for 35 minutes and then you're going to go and do what they now you gotta know who your people are. That's my son, Matthew. He's trying to go to Navy Officer Candidate School. Jack just went to CU Boulder. Like I said, he's in Navy ROTC. And then Keely is a sophomore in high school. She's a cheerleader. She's not allowed to leave the house. Obviously, that's an old picture, but I love this one because that's us leaving Chicago, leaving Wall Street, and kind of doing this thing on our own. Okay, Top Gun Options, folks. 13 years-ish. We've been going, over 10,000 investors of all skill levels. So for the 10, 15, 20% that said, hey, I have no idea what anything is, welcome. And to the Jedi Masters, just like one of the mottos at Top Gun, you think you're good, we're going to make you better. We also have 2 investment clubs we can talk about down the road. But here's what we look like. On the training side here at Top Gun Options, you should open what is called a paper trading account. So for all the new folks, write this down. You should go to etrade.com/TopGun. You can open a brokerage account. You need a brokerage account, right? In order to trade stocks or ETFs, exchange traded funds, or options, you need to have what's called a brokerage account. So I use E-Trade. I've been with them for ages. Obviously, I helped build Options House. I was at Options House before, Trade Monster. Brokerage firms are like airlines, folks. They merge and acquire all the time. So, but open a brokerage account. And just about every brokerage firm today has what's called a paper trading account, meaning they're going to give you $100 grand in monopoly money for you to train. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't go to flight school in Pensacola, read a book, and run out to an airplane. Okay, you go to the simulator building. You do the emergency procedures. You do your checklist. You do everything in the simulator before you get airborne. So before you ever put any real capital at risk, ladies and gentlemen, you do what? You practice, you train, okay? I'm telling you right now, do not squeeze the trigger and fire any real capital without knowing what you're doing. I mean, it's almost like, duh. I can't believe that guy had to say that. Well, no, duh. People do it. And if bad things happen, you deserve it, period. Just like Sergeant Stryker in the Sands of Iwo Jima. Life's tough. It's even tougher if you're stupid, so don't be stupid. In the training side, we have a service called Solo Amazon. It's every Monday at 10 a.m. We just trade Amazon. You're going to learn why we just trade Amazon in a couple minutes. And then we have what's called Full Throttle. We do other briefs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they're skill-based. One is more conservative. It's accelerated retirement, longer dated trades. One is more tactical, very short-term tactical trades. And then one called the primary brief is kind of in between those, right? Execution. Once you kind of know what you're doing and you are ready to put real capital at risk, then you can join one of our investment clubs. One is called the Hunters and one is called Max Afterburn. We'll talk about that down the road. So don't get what the hell is an investment club? Crawl, walk, run. Turbo. Okay, man. Yeah. You know what, Turbo? Do me a favor. It looks like that the message of our foundation resonated with somebody. Just shoot me an email, Wiz, WHIZ, @topgunoptions.com, and we can chat. Okay, so like I said, every Tuesday at 10 a.m. we do a primary brief. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. is weekly options, and every Thursday is accelerated retirement. Why am I talking about the live trade briefs? Because, folks, this is the formula for success. For those of you that are new to investing in stocks and ETFs or options, You need the training. You need some knowledge. Then you need the practical application. In the military, we call this demo do. I'm going to demonstrate in the training environment as your flight instructor, then you're going to do. Demo do. This is how we marry these things together. There are a host of other services out there that do what? Just this. Get in here and start firing stuff. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, well, go figure it out on your own. Okay? So, yeah, these are all Eastern time. Obviously, folks, if you're sitting here going, I work during those times, guess what? Everything's recorded. And if I find trades or investments during these briefs, I stop and I send out an email and a text alert. So if you're sitting there in death by meeting Tuesday morning, hey, boom, you get the trades at the same time as people that are in the live trade briefs. And then whenever you get time, you catch up at night when the kids go to bed or over the weekend, you can watch the replays. Okay, so that's kind of what we look like at. This is what we look like complete with Solo Amazon is on Mondays at 10 a.m. That's like the full flight schedule. Okay. Shelly, we'll get to the cost in a little bit. I'm not selling anything right now. I'm just giving you an overview of what we look like. I appreciate you asking that, but I'm not trying to sell anything right now. I'm just giving you an overview of what we are before we start talking about stuff. And I appreciate that, but I will answer your question here in a little bit. Obviously, don't listen to me. Go look at Trustpilot. Go look at our reviews. Go look at our reviews, and you can check. It's almost a perfect score on Trustpilot. Except for one guy that didn't like my politics and went and complained. Okay, dude. All right. And I kind of tell people in investing, let me tell you something. I'm a little bipolar, and so am I. Here's what I mean. In investing, I'm going to tell you how I feel as an American, right? There are some things that just make my skin crawl. And then I'm going to put on my $10,000 Armani suit like Gordon Gekko in the movie Wall Street and print money. Let me give you an example right now. China. China is our mortal enemy. We already are at war with China. It's just not a hot shooting war. We're definitely at war with China, economic, militarily, blah, blah, blah. Can't stand China. They're going to destroy us. They are destroying us. You look at my daughter's TikTok, it's all, hey, young girls are too fat in America. You need to starve yourself. You look at TikTok in China, and it's engineering videos, physics videos, and math videos. They're brilliant. They're destroying the United States of America. That's how I feel as Wiz. You ready for this? Good. I'm going to make money off of that. I'm going to get long-term bullish on China because they're going to take over the world. So it's funny, just like one of the lines in the movie Wall Street, if you want a friend, get a dog. Sometimes in investing, I call it a hold your nose trade, right? So in investing, sometimes, if you want to make money, you got to step up to the plate. Okay. Investing basics. Let's pretend you're me in 1991. You were a lot better looking, had more hair, and you were skinnier. Investing basics. Here are the things that I learned, man. You ready for this? There's stocks, there's ETFs, and there's options. Let's stick with stocks just right now. Just about everybody on the planet knows what a stock is. Public companies. Apple, McDonald's, Boeing, Amazon. These are all what are called public companies. And you, my little retail investor, can own a share of these companies, right? You can go to what's called through your broker, right? E-Trade, Ameritrade, Schwab, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. These are called brokers. You all know what a broker is. Real estate broker, yacht broker, stock broker. Anything with the word broker obviously is a middleman, middlewoman of a transaction. You can buy shares in a company and become what is called a shareholder. I own part of that company, right? As a shareholder and owning part of a company, you have certain rights. You can vote, you can get access to a dividend, which is getting some money back if the company makes money, okay? Now, what's the problem with investing in a stock? We'll get to in a second here. That company can go out of business if it's a crappy company. Obviously, that's why we're only going to talk about investing in quality companies. You'll find with our Solo Amazon service, I call it the Death Star. Amazon The stock is literally taking over everything it touches, from entertainment to Amazon Web Services to Amazon Prime delivery is bigger than FedEx and UPS. It's taking over everything. So you only want to invest in quality companies. You don't want to get a next hot stock tip from a guy at a cocktail party. You want to invest in quality names. Now, if the danger of investing in a stock is that it could go out of business, guess what? You can you can invest in what's called an ETF, an exchange traded fund. So I gave you that example a little while ago when I was a young officer in the Navy. I bought Ann Taylor and American Express. I started putting together a basket, so to speak, of my own stocks. Why are you going to pay somebody to pick a bunch of stocks for you when there's something called an ETF, an exchange traded fund, which is nothing but a bunch of different stocks all in one? So instead of risking it by putting all your eggs in one basket, you can spread that out. There are different sector ETFs that we'll look at: the technology sector, the financial sector, the consumer discretionary sector, right? There are different sectors that you can trade. For the past 2 months, tech has been on fire, right? I can't believe I'm going to say this. AI. If you're not in AI, years ago it was what? Crypto. After that, it was NFTs. After that, it was the metaverse. After that, now it's AI, right? So there are hot things going on, which we'll talk about, and how you can get burned pretty quick. But an ETF kind of spreads your risk out over a bunch of different names. Wiz, I love the tech sector, but I don't want to try and pick individual stocks to win. Got it. Now, options, we're going to really dig into tonight at 7. But options, you can trade on stocks and ETFs. Folks, an option is nothing but a contract. It's a piece of paper. We'll dig into it tonight, but you don't have to buy a stock or an ETF. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free type of thing? An option is the right to own an ETF or a stock, or the right to sell a stock or ETF without having to put in a lot of money to do it. So options, as you're going to learn, folks, if you know a little bit about stocks or ETFs, once you learn about options, you're going to go, why haven't I been trading these? And exactly. If you've heard options are dangerous, that's from an ignorant person. Stocks can go to zero. Options cannot. You can only lose the premium that you use to pay to buy or sell that little contract. So it's a hell of a lot less risky, in my opinion, than investing in a stock or an ETF. So we'll dig into options. That's obviously why we're here at Top Gun Options. But let's go with a couple rules, right? Rules of engagement. The first one should be pretty damn obvious, and it really isn't to a lot of people, especially with some of the fads I just rattled off. Trade what you know, right? This should be like common sense, but let's start with common sense. Trade what you know. What do you mean by that? I go to yoga. I'm a yoga guy now. Lululemon, right? Moms, I buy my kid a Happy Meal every once in a while. McDonald's. I mean, everywhere around you, folks, is something that you are pretty damn familiar with. I love my Ford, my Prius. It's the best thing in the world. I'm a Tesla cult member, Scientologist type of thing. Trade what you know. Even trade the exact opposite of what you know, right? I go to a gym, folks, at the height of the COVID fiasco. Thank God I live in the free state of Florida. Everybody freaked out for about 2 weeks. After 2 weeks down here in Florida, we're like, whatever, done, live your own life. Peloton. I'm like, I bought a home gym. I put it in the garage. If we were all going to be locked up forever, I'm like, I built a garage gym, right? And I went out and went for a run, or I have a bike. I'm like, let me get this straight. People are going to put a stationary bike in their living room. I can't work out at home. The garage is bad enough for me. Who wants to work out in their living room and get all sweaty and stinky? You can do the exact opposite of trading what you know. You can actually pound something into the dirt. At the height of the COVID crash, it's in my book. I'm like, destroy Peloton. In a couple years, this thing's going to blow by. People are going to be using those things to hang clothes on. It's going to be an expensive clothes dryer. Peloton's almost out of business, right? So use the biggest resource that you have in trading and investing is the 6, 8, if you're a Marine, inches of gray matter between your ears. This is not hard. It's not rocket surgery. It's actually kind of easy if you trade what you know, just based on your life, right? I mean, we have a lot of folks in our investment clubs who are pharma executives or airline pilots, trade pharma stocks, or I trade airline stocks. So trading what you know is kind of step one. If you're waking up in the morning, drinking your cup of coffee in your bunny slippers and watching CNBC and looking for trade ideas, you're going to fail. We'll talk more about how awful the financial media are in a little bit, but they're pumping stuff, folks. 99.9% of the time, the gal or the guy frothing at the mouth about something on CNBC is either long, meaning they're bullish that the stock's going to go up, or they're short, they're bearish, thinking the stock's going to go down. CNBC got in trouble years ago for what? Because somebody would be like, oh, I'd sell my mom, mortgage the house, and sell the kids to buy this stock. The guy was completely long the stock, and then the stock fails, and CNBC was starting to get in trouble. So now they got to put what? They do a quick disclaimer like, okay, this guy's long the stock, or blah, blah, blah. But folks, I'm gonna teach you about all this stuff because I've been there, right? All right, so how do you make money, Wiz? All right, I get what a stock is. It's a McDonald's, it's a Lululemon, it's a Peloton, it's an Amazon, it's an Apple, right? And then a basket of those are called an ETF. How do I make money? Okay. Well, if you're just trading stocks or ETFs, you can make money 3 ways. You can buy the stock. You can hope it goes up in value, up in price. And if it doesn't, you can pray. That sounds awful to me because you have to be right. Now, if you're buying a quality name like a Microsoft or an Apple or an Amazon, the things ain't going out of business anytime soon, and they're going to appreciate or go up in value. And you will make money as the stock goes up based on the shares, how many shares you bought in that company. But let's say you buy Apple today and it just sits there for the next month or two. You're not making money, folks. It's just sitting there. If the stock price doesn't, or God forbid, you buy it and it starts going down, now you're losing money. So just buying a stock or an ETF that you like kind of sucks, even if it's a solid name, because seasonally, and once you become a member, I'm going to teach you the next month and a half-ish, forgive my French, is going to be a shit show. The end of the fiscal year in Washington is the end of September. I already told you, they have 11 legislative days to pass a ton of budgets. Most likely we're going to get, God forbid, a government shutdown. The market doesn't like that and will probably go down. We will probably get a spike in what is called volatility, uncertainty. I love when this happens. But if you own stocks, you're long or bullish on stocks, this ain't going to be a profitable couple months for you. That's why I don't trade stocks or ETFs. I trade options on them, right? How do you make money with options? You ready for this? If the stock or the option is, it's called an underlying. So a stock and an ETF has options on it. Okay, kind of like a yacht. I'm going to buy an option on that yacht, or this house. We're going to talk tonight about a house example of how you use an option. But I just want to tell you that with options, you can make money. It doesn't matter if the stock goes up, down, or sideways. Wait, hold on, Wiz. You can make money with options if the stock is going up. Yep. If it goes down, hell yeah. Matter of fact, sometimes if it's violently going down, we can make a lot of money. Or sideways, yep. There's a tactic that if the stock is moving, doesn't do anything, you're making money with the options. With a stock, if it's moving sideways, baby, you're sitting there going, I hope it starts going, and now it's going down. Now I'm losing money. Okay. Now, let me clear something up. You can make money on a stock if it's going down. It's called shorting the stock. and it is incredibly dangerous. When you're short something, you think it's going to go down. Okay? So we'll talk about that down the road, but don't extremely dangerous to short a stock. It is much safer to use options and be what's called bearish on a stock. Bullish, you think something's going to go up. Bearish, you think something's going to go down. So you can short a stock. Ain't nobody in this room should be shorting stocks, okay? You should be using options. So real quick, if rule number one of investing is trade what you know, rule number two, you have to assume this at all times, is Wall Street's lying to you. One of the toughest transitions in my life was leaving a fighter squadron, a United States Navy fighter squadron, and going to Wall Street. In a Navy fighter squadron, Air Force, Marine, Army, you trust the aviators in that ready room with your life, or they're not there. Okay? I went to Wall Street, and I couldn't trust these people wear golf cleats to step all over each other to climb higher. In the military, if you make it, you put the ladder down. You help your brothers and your sisters out. You make it on Wall Street, you pull that ladder up. These people would push their own mother in front of a bus to make $1. I guarantee you. So they're lying to you. So even for the new folks who are new to investing or trading, you've probably heard this at some time, right? You can't put all your eggs in one basket. Give me a vertical head nod. Everybody's heard that, Wiz. Even if this is my first day of investing training with you, I've heard that. Of course, right? You can't put all your eggs in one basket. Some people have said that about life, right? You have to diversify. Diversification is important. The 5 steps to, you've heard this or you've probably seen this. And if you're brand new, I'm telling you that this is what, if you're in another place learning to invest and trade, this is what they're telling you. They're also lying to you. Who's lying to you? That guy. The same broker who you trade through. E-Trade, Schwab, Morgan Stanley. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, when you use the word broker, insert the word commission. Delete it and put commission instead. Real estate broker, yacht broker, stock broker, money, commission, cha-ching, cha-ching. So this dude, your broker, wants you in as many names as physically possible. If you've seen the movie Wall Street or Boiler Room or Wolf of Wall Street with Leonardo, churn, baby. Get him into this stock. Get him out of it tomorrow. Get him into the new stock. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Commissions. Okay? Now, it's called churn. They want to churn your accounts. No, thank you. Let me be very blunt. You guys are going to learn if you're new to me. I'm a fighter pilot. I don't have time, man. Let's talk. Diversification is for stupid people. That sounds rude. No, it's the truth. If you're an idiot, you have to diversify. All right, well, let me use an old nice guy to clean it up. Diversification is a protection against ignorance. It makes very little sense for those who know what you're doing. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, in my portfolios, I have, what am I long-term bullish on? You want to know how diversified I am? I own a ton of Amazon and psychedelic stocks. That's it. Now we trade other stuff. I trade the S&P 500 and, we'll pound Target into the dirt or Budweiser. We trade some stuff. But as far as investing, right? Investing sounds like a longer term thing. I'm going to buy something and invest in it. Great. So the things that I've bought and I invest in, and what we can talk about in our training as we mature down the road in our training syllabus here about what sectors I'm really bullish on. The biggest one, and I don't want to steal my thunder from the future briefs, is the psychedelic space. Period. It is not the next hot thing. It is the only next thing. Period. The United States of America, the world is going straight down, man. We are in a nosedive. Spiritually, politically, financially, militarily, everything is awful. The rise of these healing medicines hopefully is going to intercept that decline. You want to sell the wife and kids and mortgage the house, it's to get into the psychedelic space. I am in it to win it. And, you know, it's very altruistic too. Like Gordon Gekko would be in the psychedelic space just to make money. I'm not Gordon Gekko. I'm Wiz. I'm in the psychedelic space to save and change lives. Knock on wood, there hasn't been one healing grant recipient that came back or a year later is like, oh, I'm awful and I'm even worse. It probably happens. I've never heard of it. I was a drinker. I'm not a drinker anymore. I'm a better husband, father, and human being. Never felt better in my life. This is the future. All right. I don't want to steal my thunder from my. Here you go. Mike just said the same thing. Yeah, exactly, Mark. I once saw a speech from Peter Lynch. He renamed diversification diversification. Exactly. And he ran a mutual fund with dozens or hundreds of different stocks. That is it, exactly. Mari, can you help us change our mutual funds to the most profitable retirement funds? Absolutely. I am absolutely going to help you do all of those things. Yeah, I love that stuff. Let me talk about some intelligence sources real quick, because if you're sitting there going, man, I don't even know where to start. Okay. Yeah. Oh, the psychedelic. I will tell you the psychedelic names that I currently own or would invest in. I will also tell you that well, we can talk about this some other time, but you can potentially, as a member of one of our investment clubs, you can get preferred access to some psychedelic offerings. For example, I'm an investor and also on the advisory board of a psychedelic REIT, real estate investment trust. It's called Healing REIT, because when MDMA is legal for therapeutic use in the next 6 to 12 months, you will be physically unable to get MDMA in your doctor's office. You're going to have to go to a nice clinic. It's got a nice couch or bed. There's two therapists in there. It's recorded. It's the psychedelic real estate sector is where you need to go, because some of the psychedelic companies right now, it's kind of, I use the best analogy I can use, Mari, for the psychedelic space right now is it's the internet 1999. There's an Amazon and a Google and a pets.com and, Netscape. You buy the right two, you're rich. You buy the wrong two, you're broke. So instead of trying to gamble on there's some that I'm not gambling on that are solid names in the space. But if you don't want to risk on just some psychedelic names, look at the infrastructure, the underlying, right? That's why, I called Bitcoin for what it was, man, and all the cryptos. There was like thousands of cryptos at one point. I'm like, that's dumb. Blockchain, the technology underneath it, now I can get bullish on that. So I'm going to teach you all this stuff, folks, is sometimes the fads, look under the fads and what's powering the fads. Okay, so I'm good questions, man. I love this group so far. I'm trying to be a pioneer. I'm doing my best. All right, what time is it? Let me keep briefing a little bit, and I don't want to go on too much further. And I told you at the beginning, trading's a form of combat. Investing is a form of combat. Now, if you lose, you get to go home that night. But guess what? In my world, if you lost, sometimes you didn't get to go home. So you need intelligence gathering. You need to be able to gather intelligence in order to fire an investment or a trade. Like I said, you can't just sit here, watch CNBC or, listen to somebody at the water cooler going, hey, buy this stock. You need to gather intel. First of all, this is what I do. In our live trade briefs, I give you all the intel. But let me just tell you, as you start to invest in trade, here are some intelligence resources to help you, okay? The first one is you. I'm telling you, folks, I was a poor kid from South Jersey, South Philadelphia, political science major in college, okay? Now, if you're sitting here like that guy who flew fighter jets, he's got to be brilliant. I'm depriving a village somewhere of an idiot, and I'm not joking when I say that. I have some intelligence, but folks, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine, the Army, they train you. I had buddies who were forestry majors that flew fighter jets, folks. So if you get the proper training, you can do anything. They taught monkeys how to fly into space. Okay. So I'm not being self-deprecating when I say this is not that hard. When you're trained and you have a little bit of knowledge and you know where to look to get your intelligence, you're going to be a lethal machine. Idiots sitting in Davos, Switzerland going, the China bug, it's not coming here. And folks, there are so many. I'm not even going to waste any more of your time about how many of the legendary smart investors I can point out massive failures, and somehow they still keep the title legendary or whatever investors. Okay. So anyway, you are a great resource. All right. But let me dig into some stuff. When you join Top Gun Options, either today or tonight, to get access to the rest of the full throttle training, we have what's called the Ready Room. Okay. Now the Ready Room of a fighter squadron is where, in between flights, we'd hang out, I learned more about flying and fighting the Hornet in the Ready Room than I did, from a book or a lecture. Why? Because the commanding officer was in there, the executive officer, some other guys with combat experience, some gals with it. It was where I learned just about everything. Okay. So we have what's called a Ready Room, and it's kind of like our online forum. So you can get in here and interact with your fellow traders and ask me questions, ask them questions. Okay. So, hey man, I have a question, Wiz, so you're not alone. Okay. You have what's called the Ready Room. Now we also have, a couple of investment clubs. One is called the Hunters over here. And then obviously this is called Max Afterburner. This is our lifetime group. This is an app. It's a group me, and it's an incredible resource. But we'll talk about that down the road. But I'm telling you, no matter what you're doing here at Top Gun Options, there are resources available for you to ask questions and interact. There's no more, and I made these things for this reason. I don't just want to be a one-way valve. Like, I'm going to teach you about calls and bearish spreads, and then you're good luck. Get airborne without you. You need a squadron. Okay. Some other intelligence and resources. Your brokerage platform. Okay. So go open a brokerage account with either E-Trade or anybody, Ameritrade, Charles Schwab. I use E-Trade. If you don't have a brokerage account yet, write this down, E-Trade, E-T-R-A-D, etrade.com/TopGun. If you use that link, you end up getting the commission rates I negotiated, which are better than if you're just a schlep off the street. Your broker platform, okay, and we'll dig more into this tonight and everything like that. I'm going to show you around a real brokerage platform here, folks. Trust me, when I first got to flight school and looked into the cockpit of a jet, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not ever going to be able to learn this. Done. You will learn. This is the E-Trade platform right here. That looks pretty damn busy. Let me pull up a chart of Amazon here. 3-month chart of the Amazon stock, or year to date. So open a brokerage account. Here's why I'm saying this is an intelligence resource, because, ladies and gentlemen, everything is in here. I can click on quote for Amazon. It tells me everything about it, the fundamentals, blah, 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 earnings. Over here, you get a news feed. What's going on with Amazon today? Here's all the different news stories about Amazon. Here's the social media sentiment. This is a new indicator down here. Like, how much is, the buzz rank? How much buzz does Amazon have? Instead, I'm going to teach you all this stuff, folks. So don't, again, sit here and go, okay, I have no idea what this is. What I'm saying is you need a brokerage account to go trade or invest, but the brokerage account itself is full of great intel. They have trade labs where you can, put your trades in here and test them if what's their probability of working and stuff like that. So, folks, this is worth its weight in gold. And you can't invest or trade, obviously, unless you have a brokerage account. Okay, so that is obviously a intelligence resource. Okay. The Wall Street Journal. Okay, now let me just lead with this, folks. I don't get paid a commission. I'm telling you, I forget how much it is. I don't know, $100 a year, 90, $50 a year, whatever it is worth it. Let me tell you a quick story. When I helped run that trading volatility arbitrage firm in Chicago, I didn't even know what the hell volatility arbitrage meant. I used to drive from my home in Naperville to the train station, and it was a 32-minute Metro. It took 32 minutes to get from Naperville directly to Union Station. And I'd walk from Union Station a couple blocks away to the Board of Trade. When I got on that train every day, just about everybody in every car had their face buried in the Wall Street Journal. And I learned through osmosis. What do you mean by that? Folks, I just read CDO, collateralized debt obligation. I have no idea what that is. I'm going to read this article about it. Folks, I just read and read and read. You have got to read the Wall Street Journal. You know why? It's called the Wall Street Journal. It is the paper of record of investing. The Wall Street Journal moves stocks. Stories that break in the Wall Street Journal or opinions, or folks, this is the 500-pound brain for investing, period. And again, I'm going to tell you, I didn't know, folks, I was a little retail trader. And in a short amount of time, and with your training here, you're going to get, and the live trade briefs, and just reading this as much as you can on a daily basis, kids go to bed, sitting at the beach, whatever you're doing, man, you have got to subscribe to the Wall Street Journal, period. I've actually moved to all online, and it's an app, obviously, but I'd walk, my bunny slippers, my cup of coffee to the driveway every day and get it, and I'd have my highlighter, and I'd sit there, and I'd almost run out of highlighter on a daily basis based on the things that we needed to cover in a live trade brief. Okay, I'm telling you, the more you read of this, this is it. Okay. All right. Again, I don't get paid, but if you're not reading the Wall Street Journal, in the live trade briefs, guess what? I'm going to give you everything that's going on, but I'm training you not to stay here forever, period. I'm training you to get airborne on your own. Okay. Another site that's free, they do have some premium content. Mario, I'll show you what to read in the Wall Street Journal. Trust me. I'll show there. It's funny, man. There are MBA classes that actually I will show you where to look in the journal and stuff like that. This website right here, ladies and gentlemen, is a must read on a daily basis. Period. It's called Zero Hedge. Let me give you this link and you can save it right now. Even though we're just starting our training, we got 7 more briefs to go. There's the link in the chat box. zerohedge.com. This is insane intelligence. Back in the day, this thing was they had to become public because Uncle Sam looked into it like, you're trading inside information. And the guys that run the site are like, no, dude, we're just traders and investors and we know what's going on. They're like, you got to make it public because it looks like you guys are just sharing insider information. So it's got everything in here. Dollar General plunges on missed earnings, outlook slashed, initial jobless claims. The articles in Zero Hedge also moves the market. Okay. I guarantee you, you're going to become intimately familiar with this site. It is market moving and it has incredible intelligence. Okay. So this is a must. All right. So Wall Street Journal, it's online.wallstreetjournal.com, right? And then Zero Hedge is another one. And I'm going to, as we move further in our training, I'm going to dig into each of these. You're going to see me using these things. Okay. Again, my job is to be your flight instructor and teach you all this stuff. Couple other things. This one's good. I'll give you this because it's got a great calendar. As an investor, as a trader, you need to know what's going on. There will be events released. Jerome Powell is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, for example, the guy that controls monetary policy in our country. When he speaks, the market literally moves. Sometimes we're in a live trade brief when he's speaking, and you can trade based on what the words the guys are saying. This might look like a lot right now. I just put the link in the chat box, but this is a calendar. What's today? Thursday? So today we got some, you see where it says USD, that's the United States, that's Canada, that's Europe, Japan, China. So obviously we're looking at US stuff. But tomorrow, for example, is a big day. Look at tomorrow morning. Friday morning, we get what? A jobs number, the unemployment rate. This will definitely be market moving information. In our training, I'm going to show you how to use this calendar as well. You see these, you see how these things are red right here? That means high impact expected. So you can actually look at this. Let me delete, and you see, let me hover over it real quick. High impact expected. So as you start your day and drinking your coffee and your bunny slippers, you can look at these things and go, okay, what's on the flight schedule for today that could potentially be market moving? Okay. Again, in the training, I'm going to teach you how to look at all this stuff. And in the live trade briefs, we're going to talk about this stuff because we can place trades based on what's going on with some of these macroeconomic announcements. But I'm just giving you kind of all the intel sources right now so you can start driving around and looking at them. Now, obviously, I got CNBC on one TV. I got Fox Business. Sometimes I'll toggle in between Bloomberg as well. So obviously, the financial media on TV. Remember this, folks. If it's and the last intel resource I'm going to give you, you don't have access to unless you're a member, and it's this. I'm a member of a mastermind group that's got hedge fund, politicians, flag officers, executive, you name it. We have a mastermind group that does. I get a ton of it. This thing is worth its weight in gold. When I had my buddy in the White House, it was fantastic intel. So that's why you never burn bridges with anybody, folks. My personal Rolodex is worth its weight in gold. Washington, hedge funds, Wall Street, Greenwich, Hong Kong, military, Pentagon. We got some pretty good intel resources. And not just me, your fellow TGO members have these resources as well. I get great intel from our own people, right? This is why I say TOPGUN Options in our investment clubs is the best hedge fund I've ever seen because, first of all, we're trading our own money. Most professional traders aren't trading their own money, folks. They're trading the firm's money. I work for a firm. The firm lets me trade a book. I'm trading my own money, man, and people here at TOPGUN Options are also trading their own money. So our give a shit meter is a lot higher than those so-called folks. All right, we got about 5 minutes left. Only hour and 15 is the max that people can take, and I don't want to lose you. So as we dig into options tonight, we're going to take a look at our strategic picture. I can't even believe I'm saying this in a live trade brief. There's war in Europe. The market hasn't imploded and the volatility index hasn't spiked? Nope. War in Europe, raging inflation. You all live in the real world. I live in the real world. I put gas in my son's Jeep yesterday afternoon. I almost dropped dead. And the Federal Reserve, I'll teach you what the Federal Reserve is failing. Raging inflation, failing Fed. We're in a recession or we're hurtling towards a recession right now. The economy is getting ready to implode. War in the Middle East, Asia, China's imploding economically. Look at that. On your screen right now is a lot of bad. As an options trader, I'm going to teach you that you can make a lot of money on a lot of bad. If you're just investing in, I have a 401k. Your 401k is about to be a 201k if you don't know what you're doing. Again, if you're just long-term bullish or you just invest in stocks, you can get hammered and destroyed. There's something called the business cycle, right? The market cycle. Markets go up and markets go down. Obviously, people feel great when markets go up and their 401ks are looking good. When markets go down, things can be pretty bad. I'm going to train you that you can make money as markets go down. All right. So anyway, let me give you the link. So here's what we're going to do. And this will, tonight's free training, we're going to start digging deeper into options. Okay, we talked about stocks today. We talked about ETFs. Tonight's options training. Let me just, the flight schedule is kind of on here right now, right? So we talked about the basics of investing, trading, and markets. Tonight, I'm going to give you my trading methodology. We already talked. I knocked this out because I wanted to cover more of this tonight. Our trading methodology and our 7-step trade plan. You have got to have a plan when you invest or trade. I've told you that trading is a form of combat. Do you think we go into combat without a plan? Nope. Unless you're Joe Biden pulling out of Afghanistan, then it's a different story. So tonight we're going to dig into options. I'm going to show you tonight how, if you are kind of in a retirement account right now, or just I buy stocks and I don't do anything else like that. Where do we make money? So this is a chart right here, folks, of the S&P 500. What's that mean? S&P 500. Standard & Poor's is a company, and it's an index that has, you ready for this? 500 names in it, stocks in it. That's what makes up an index. The NASDAQ is another index. It's mainly technology focused. The Dow, many of you have heard of the Dow Jones. You see the trading floor on TV, right? The S&P 500 is just another what we call index of 500 names, medium to large companies in the United States. This is what I trade the most, the S&P 500. Now I'm going to take a look at how this is the primary model portfolio that we trade on Tuesdays. The primary model portfolio is up as of today, $243,000 year to date. Just trading the S&P 500, we're up over $220,000. This is based on a $100,000 model account, but at any one time, we're only deploying about 20 grand. How much do we have at risk right now in this portfolio? I think 15 when I looked this morning. So these returns, folks, are not using a lot of money. We also traded some Amazon in here, some Goldman Sachs, and some volatility index. Okay, but I'm going to show you tonight the right side of the chart. You see all this white out here? This is where you make money. There's no broker on the face of this planet that lets you trade off the left side of a chart, right? Meaning it already happened. So you can look at the left side of the chart all you want. You ain't going to make a dime off of it. This is where we make money. We have to project our thoughts, what we're doing right now, forward in space and time to figure out where we believe the market is going. And I already told you between today and September 31st, we're probably looking at some pretty tough times for the market, but it's going to be awesome for you and me because we can trade and make money. So I'm going to teach you how to trade, which is kind of tactical, but we're also going to talk about investing. I already told you my personal account is loaded with Amazon and with the psychedelic stocks, and we're going to talk about all that stuff. Okay, so real quick reminder. First of all, the link that you got in here to join this brief is the same brief for tonight. Okay, so 7 o'clock tonight Eastern, we're going to knock out the option. We're going to get into options. Okay, so this morning was an intro of me, who I am, TOPGUN options. Wow, 428 people registered. We almost doubled the registrations. Tonight's options, though. Tonight is options, and I'm so looking forward to this. But let me give you, in case you came in a little late, here is the replay. As soon as I go stretch my legs and get a new cup of coffee, I'm going to post the replay on this page from this brief. Now, quick reminder, this training, 8 briefs. These 8 briefs, I usually charge $495 for, which is cheap. There are other crappier places that charge a couple grand for what I'm going to do in the next week. And they suck. They're awful. Ladies and gentlemen, $295. I'm actually doing it's a Labor Day. Look at that. I'm going to give you $200. It's usually $495 for this week of training. 8 sessions. I'm giving you a Labor, because Monday, if you remember the flight schedule, Monday the market's closed, and I'll be at the beach or something like that. So it's only $295, folks. Okay, so that's a soft sell. Tonight I'm going to sell it hard, because after tonight's session, when we get done with that and we start really digging into stuff next week, you're not going to have access unless you are a current member. Okay, now let me remind some folks who joined Solo Amazon recently, if you didn't take the training, that upsell, you're not going to get access to this. You're just in Solo Amazon. So I'm talking to current members right now. Yeah, I'll give you the registration link for tonight. Yeah. So if you're not a current member, folks, after the final brief tonight, you don't get access to anything. Okay, so it's usually $495, but I'm giving you a Labor Day. Thanks for all the hard work. So there's the link to attend for tonight. Okay, so again, one more time, $295, $200 off. But join me tonight. Tonight's going to be a big one. We're going to get into that, and it's a building block approach, folks. If you notice that, here's what we're going to do, step by step. How do we eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So we're taking a nice building block approach as we knock these out. And by this time next Thursday, if you are brand new to investing, you are going to be trading options successfully. I guarantee it. Unless you're a complete idiot, I am going to teach you how to trade. Okay? So that's that. I just posted the link to join tonight. I don't have a link for next week yet, because people have to join. I'm not putting out the link for next week, because if you're not a member, you don't get access to it. Okay, so $200 discount for the rest of the 7 briefs. Okay, Mari, absolutely. I will. You got it. I love the way you're sounding. So it seems like you should be on board with us here. This is going to be a good time. With our 4 model portfolios, Solo Amazon, Primary, Weekly, and AR, we're up nearly $600,000 year to date trading. So this is awesome. I love this stuff, folks. If you can't tell, I'm very passionate about what I do. Nobody leaves one of these training sessions or a live trade brief with a question mark over their head or a clue bird flapping on their shoulder. I will answer every question. And outside of the briefs, you go over to the ready room like, hey, Wiz, I got a question for you. I didn't understand this. I will answer it, okay? This is the industry-leading training, folks. Nobody else does it like I do, or does it for this good of a price. And I just gave you a $200 discount. That's my marketing team talking, not me. I'm like, why aren't we charging $495? Oh, it's Labor Day. I'm like, why are we? Okay. So, Shelly, Roths aren't bad. There are only certain things you can do in a Roth, and we'll talk about that in our training, Shelly. But you may have to move some money out of a Roth just into a regular brokerage account in order to start doing some of the trades and the training that we do. Okay, so from your experiences, what are some student challenges, Mary? I will talk about that tonight. That's a great question, because that's one of some of the where is it over here? Right here. Some of the student challenges, or almost all of the student challenges that I see, are solved by this. I'll tell you what the challenges are tonight, and also how you defeat those challenges. This ain't hard, folks. Remember, we have what's called an SOP, Standard Operating Procedures. There's a ton of people that went before you that made mistakes. You don't have to make them again. I'm going to share with you the most common challenges and mistakes that I see, so you don't have to do it. Okay. All right. I went way too long, guys, because I have a ton of trading to do right now. But I will see all of you tonight at 7. If you can't make it, it'll be recorded and it'll be posted on the replay page. But you have got, after tonight, we're done with the free stuff. The rest of this training is only $295, which is an insane steal. Okay, so I'll post this replay here shortly, and then I will see most of you tonight. Let me post this again. Yeah, here's the link to join. $295. Again, tonight's another free brief as we dig deeper. But the rest of them, you obviously have to get access to. If you're just in solo Amazon, folks, you don't have access to this. So make sure you grab access. Okay. Awesome. You're welcome. Absolutely. I love this stuff, folks. Mary, yes, I do send out text and email alerts. Yep. When we place trades in the live trade briefs, I'll send out an email with a picture of the trade, and I also send out a text alert with the trade as well. So, yep, you get text and email alerts, but we'll talk about that maybe tonight, okay? Because I got to go. Have a great rest of your. This was a good brief. Just ask me. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. Fights on. Namaste, and I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Fights on.